And she gave the Ferguson officials a poor rating, the lowest rating possible. She says she will return and do a follow-up because of all of the poor things she found. She said that finding documents was like pulling teeth. She was disheartened with the mold and the water damage, missing money. And as I said, it was a poor rating. To talk about it, DeCarlin Seawood is the City of Ferguson city manager. DeCarlin Seawood, welcome to Big 550 KTRS.
Well, thank you.
What's your initial thoughts as you hear and read her report?
Well, I mean, the first thing we have to talk about is this audit is from the 2014-2015 fiscal year. That was 3 years ago. And within that time, the city has made great strides to improve our processes. You know, we've worked with the OSCA, we've worked with the Department of Justice, we've worked with the auditor's office to improve processes, to improve procedures, to make sure that we're providing the best service possible to our residents.
She says that finding documents was like pulling teeth. Do you agree with that?
Well, one thing, all the files that are necessary are already computerized. So yeah, so our long-term storage, there was a flood. That was 2014. You know what was going on in Ferguson at the time. The roof of the garage had a huge leak, and by the time they discovered it, a lot of paperwork was damaged and destroyed. But it wasn't the city being inept and not trying to work with the auditor's office. It was a crisis. But everything they asked for, we were able to get to them.
Did you respond in a timely fashion?
I believe we did. No, there were some files that it took a long time for us to find. And one thing that occurred, if you look at what was going on in Ferguson, you know, from 2014 to now, there's been 5 people in the city manager's seat. There's been 3 people working as the city clerk. There's been 2 court clerks. There's been 5 municipal judges. There's been 2 prosecuting attorneys. There's been 2 city attorneys. So we've had a lot of turnover. So yeah, things got misplaced. But we were able to find the things that they needed, and we were able to provide them with all the documentation they asked for.
She also said in her report that there was $1,400 in cash missing and careless record taking.
And the funny thing is, the city discovered that before the audit started, and they did their investigation, and an employee they felt that was involved in it was dismissed.
She also said that the way that her office was treated, she said she would hate to know how people just lay people would be treated. What do you think about that?
The thing that I find disheartening about that, I wish she would have come down and talked to us. You know, as a city manager, when I heard that there was issues with our staff and the auditor's office, I went out and I talked to their staff. And I tried to figure out exactly what the issues were and how can we resolve it. She never did that. She never gave us that same courtesy.
I'm sorry.
So could there have been some tension between their staff and our staff? Yes, that happens. But at the end of the day, the things that they asked for, the things they requested, they were given.
DeCarlin Seawood is the City of Ferguson city manager disputing Nicole Galloway, the auditor's report on Ferguson. Now, in her report, she says there were illegal fees. She says in Ferguson, you charge $15 for a letter fee, a $50 charge for a warrant recall, and she even said that court officials charge people $75 to crime victims who file reports but ultimately choose not to pursue charges. What do you say?
Well, and at the time those fees were collected, they weren't deemed illegal. And actually no judge has actually deemed them to be illegal. But they were called improper. And once it came out that, hey, maybe you shouldn't be charging this, the city stopped. So the city repealed all those ordinances that called for those collections. They stopped those collections back in 2015. So again, when we're talking about a 2014 audit in 2017. And so the one thing that I wish she would have done as she's given us the scathing report, talk about what we're doing right now. Talk about the procedures that have been put in place. Talk about the policies that have been changed. Talk about the things that have been updated. So, yeah, you can criticize for what we're doing, but let's talk about what we're doing right now.
Did you have a chance to talk with her before and see the report and have a chance to respond to the report before it was released to the public?
We got a chance to receive the initial report, and they made some changes on our suggestions. The final report that came out, we got it 2 hours before they released it to the public.
Where are you keeping your records now?
Most of the past records are kept at the police station, and they are kept in a sealed plastic box to make sure that there's no damage that can come in from water. And that's the other thing is when we responded, we sent them those pictures of here's the files right now. And when she did her press conference, she didn't show those pictures.
DeCarlin Seawood, what would you tell her now if you had a chance to speak with her?
I would say that it's okay to criticize what communities are doing, but I think the job is for us to assist each other. So don't just criticize. Come in and help us. If there's some solutions that we need that you as a larger entity can provide them. Give us the assistance so we can move this community forward. The citizens of Ferguson have worked really hard to bring back the pride in this community. And every time we move 2 steps ahead, there's something else that comes out that says, oh, back then you did this, and it pushes everything back. We want the train to move forward. We want this to be a place where all our citizens can feel proud and be happy about where they live and play. I understand the criticism, and I'll accept that. But if you're going to criticize, bring help.
DeCarlin Seawood, City of Ferguson City Manager, responding to the criticism from Nicole Galloway. Thank you for your time, sir. 7:57, Big 550.